persons, and things like that. But when Sharon talked to me 3 weeks ago and said I should come and share, I went back to my research note and I was amazed to discover that there are snipers of things that are very important that we didn't pay particular attention to. So I thank the organizers for inviting me to share it. So first, let me say that we've carried out 3 major researches, including this will make it 4, on the Boko Haram. One was a departmental research, a low-budget research, where we try to look at the Boko Haram from the point of view of the people in the Northeast region. People were talking about different narratives on the Boko Haram, but we wanted to know what the people thought about it, how it all started, how it is impacting their lives, and we discovered quite a number of things. The second was an army-sponsored research. The army wanted us to compare the Boko Haram before 2015 and after 2015, an assessment of the impact of the coming of Buhari and General Buratai, who was the chief of army staff. And then the third was a research sponsored by Northeast Regional Initiative, which is an NGO which are engaged the Center for Peace and Development Study, and I happen to be a coordinator there. I participated in it, and then this one that DMU organized. Now, from what I've seen in the course of these 4 researches, the first thing that has caught my attention is the issue of the narratives and the ideology. There are so many conflicting narratives, so many interpretations of the reason why the Boko Haram incident started in 2009. I'm not talking about the historical background, but the actual crisis that started. Now, what people often miss is that the ideology is rooted in religion. And I'm concerned about that because of the tendency of the Boko Haram to perpetuate itself, particularly among the youth. Ene mentioned the fact that one of the most critical categories affected by the Boko Haram are the youth. And to the extent that these youth believe in the Boko Haram ideology, then it's likely to continue. The army can say we've downgraded it, but there are so many of them that are still being lured into the Boko Haram for as little as 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira in the rural areas. How do you counter that? How do you engage them so that they refuse to join the Boko Haram and find something useful in society to do? That's one of the things that we discovered. The second thing that caught my attention is, again, the issue of the immediate impact, the displacements of so many people in the rural areas who are now concentrated in Maiduguri city. Anything between 2 million and 3 million have been mentioned in terms of the numbers that have been displaced. From 2016, 2017, attempts have been made to return some back to their local government area. But the thing is that the insecurity in the rural area is still a reality. So how do you take people back when there is no security? So they still remain in the city. So what do you do? How do you take care of them? We noticed that at initial, right from the beginning, there has been an over-dependence on the activities of both governments and international and national NGOs in terms of the response to how to take care of these particular groups. And I must say that there was no alternative to it, given the sheer number of displaced persons who had the resources to take care of these IDPs in this camp. It had to be either NEMA or SEMA or the World Bank or any of these NGOs that are there, UNICEF, UNDP, WFO, IOM, all of them that are all over the place in Maiduguri. Now, they have to be there because they are the ones that have the capacity to meet the needs of these people. Now, but then what we notice is that at the beginning, the people appreciated the intervention of government and the intervention of these NGOs because they were helpless. But even at that level, we realized that a lot of them, one, were not comfortable with being in IDP camp because, like one woman we interviewed said, he said it's difficult to live in a camp. You are not free to go where you want to go. You are not free to eat what you want to eat. It means that they are not staying in IDP camp because they want to. They're staying in IDP camp because they have no choice. That was at the beginning, around 2016, when we did our first research. And their desire at that time was to go back home. But the point is that since they were being taken care of, they had no choice but to stay. But by the time we did the army research in early 2017, we began to notice certain changes in the attitude of the IDPs. Some of them began to clearly show that they were not really interested in staying in camps because, they felt that they needed to begin to do something for themselves. But this was a very small percentage. The larger percentage was still looking up to government and NGOs for support. Now, NA used the word dependency syndrome. I used the word dependency tendency. This is exactly what we realized was developing. People now began to realize that the IDP experience was becoming a source of free assistance in kind and in cash. And we also noticed that the way these things were being deployed sometimes were not properly organized to let the people know that this could be a temporary thing. Time will come when they will have to be weaned out of this and they will have to take care of themselves. So this dependency attitude we noticed was a very serious problem that was developing. By the time we did our third research, and even in the recent one that we did, we noticed that a lot of them have become very, very dependent on government. While some would like to go home, some would prefer to remain in the camp like that. Now, one area I particularly noticed was that even on Monday, before I came here, I was asking questions. That government, with the support of the World Bank, was giving youths a lot of money. Some would be given 7,000 naira, some would be given 30,000 naira through a program of youth empowerment known as YESO. Now, the question we asked was this: what was the structural framework of providing that kind of financial assistance? What were the objectives? And I specifically asked a SEMA official, I said, when you give a youth 30,000 monthly, what are you asking him to do with that particular amount of money so that he will start doing something for himself instead of expecting that every month he will continue to get it and he doesn't know for how long it will continue? And the answer I got was that there seemed to be no clearly defined reason why the youth should be given that kind of money. Now, the result is that it creates a dependency syndrome, a dependency tendency. If as a youth I'll get 30,000 a month, why should I think of living an IDP camp? So that means there is a need to look at the proper management of the resources coming from NGOs. And again, as Ene said, including what is coming to government and the local government in Borno. Even before the Boko Haram, what we know of Borno from our experience in Borno is that a lot of the local governments in northern Borno are really dysfunctional. All the chairmen live in Maiduguri. They only go to the local government headquarters when subvention comes at the end of the month. And that tendency has been brought into the post, Boko Haram period, in the sense that they stay in Maiduguri, collect their allocation, and they use it in whatever way they use. Nobody knows what they really do with it. But what we are saying is that is money that can be very critical in providing skills training, in providing opportunities where these young people can now do sustainable activities. But where is the resources? It's not actually getting to them. Okay? Now, on the part of the NGOs, what we also noticed was that they are actually doing a lot of work. We noticed in Goza, even in the recent research that we did, that there are some NGOs that are into skills training. And sometimes at the end of it, they provide either money or materials in cash so that those victims can now begin to do certain things on their own. But again, there seem to be certain lapses in providing what can help them make good use of this training. A very sad story was told in Bakassi camp by one of our researchers. A woman was given 5,000 naira after being trained. She utilized the money, got a profit of 4,090 naira. Those who gave her the money came back, divided the profit into two, took half and left her with half. And she was lamenting. She was saying, even if they wanted to take the capital principal, they should have left her with what? The profit, so that she can turn it around. So the question we're saying is, you train a person and you give him skills. How do you prepare him so that he can use that skill properly? And if you cannot even leave the principal amount, can't you leave the profit for that person? Now, these are examples of some of the things that maybe need to be looked at if we actually want to look at the post-insurgency period in terms of survival of IDPs. Now, the other matter, as I draw to a conclusion, is the fact that government itself have not been responding properly to some of this. We have a very bad experience in Adamawa, in Malgohi camp, in Damare camp. During the last administration, they denied that Adamawa had an IDP problem. The last government decided to pull out. There were NGOs working there. When we went there for research, the NGOs were still there, including NEMA, government agency, and SEMA. But the government deliberately decided that there was no problem of IDPs. Even when